This is a demo of the ToroCube radar chart. To plot the chart, we're going to go to the configuration panel and we're going to pick a dimension. The thing you'll notice here is there's only 2 dimensions available to us. So because of the unique nature of the radar chart, you'll see what it looks like. You really need dimensions that have multiple values. Like, you don't need a dimension that only has 2 values. For example, is the case serious and yes or no? 2 values aren't going to cut it, so you need something that has multiple values, and the administrator using ToroAdmin sets up the ToroCube environment, and when they do, they can also decide which dimensions are going to be available to use in radar chart. In this case, we selected only 2, so let's just take a look at let's pick patient age group just because it's the second one. So let's generate. So here you can see on the radar chart there's 1, 2, 3, 5 patient age groups, and then this kind of gives you what the values are, how many cases are there for adults, how many cases there are for elderly, child. So basically it does that. Now you can see that if there were only 2 values, it'd be a line basically. There'd be no shape to it. I can also go in here and stack this. So if I were to stack it, let's say I'm going to stack it on patient sex, sure. And then let's see what it looks like. So now you can see that there are 2 shapes overlaid on each other. One's for the female and one's for male, the 2 values of the dimension we've stacked. So we can see that here, adult male, and it tells us for adult that are male, 1670, and adult that are female would be 1340, and so on and so forth. We can also change it a little bit. Let's see if we can stack it by case outcome. Yeah, there you go. That just makes it a little bit more crowded, and I want to kind of show how that 1 to 4 of these would be. So here you go. So here, of course, it tells us that this is 1725 for this, for the recovered 900. As you can see, 345, and we have to really go in there to zoom in on the fatal. But when you stack, it lays it out this way. And of course, if I stop stacking, if I go and say stack on none, it just shows me all by patient age group only. I can also save this as an image, and when I do, it comes down and I see my radar chart. There is a filter file that's printed that's downloaded with every image we download, and all it has is the context of what the values were that were selected to make this chart. There are other options in the data panel, and I've talked about it, but if this is the first video you're seeing, then export a ToroViewer is an interactive file that you can use. You can export a ToroViewer, and that would take whatever analysis you've done, whatever chart you've created, and put it in that file, and you can send that file, which is an interactive file, to somebody else who does not have ToroCube, who could also look at the chart and perform analysis on it. They would have the same level of interactivity you have, but they can't add more data as you are able to. If you filter out, let's say, if you filter out a certain date range, then they are relegated to the date range you've left in there. They can't bring back the date range you have filtered out. So you define the scope of the data when you export to ToroViewer. They're saving a report. So you create a report. This is a report. Saving it, publishing it. There's another video for that. And finally, confirmation report prints out a list of cases that go into making this chart. It's slow here only because this is running on the client. So my recommendation is do not click the button. If you do, it will print the confirmation report. You just have to wait a bit for it. That's all. If the production system runs on the server, and therefore it's very fast in terms of confirmation report. And thank you. That concludes the demo for the radar chart.